Good morning. Welcome to Walk Before You Run. Today, I want to look in an unlikely book. And I say unlikely because I haven't um, been in this book in a long time. So I want you to turn to Joel. Joel is in the Old Testament, and it's toward the end of the Old Testament. If you look right before Amos, and if you look right after Hosea, you'll find it. And I want to talk on the subject, nothing left. Nothing left. Now, that's a bad place to be in if there is nothing left. But Joel is a prophet who's trying to warn the people to listen to God, to pay attention. And he starts by saying, the word of the Lord that came to Joel, the son of Pethael. Hear this, ye old men, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. Hath this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Tell ye your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. That which the palmer worm hath left hath the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left the caterpillar eaten. Awake, ye drunkards, and weep, and howl, all ye drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. For a nation is come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he hath the cheek teeth of a great lion. He hath laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree. He hath made it clean bare, and cast it away. The branches thereof are made white. Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. The meat offering and the drink offering is cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests, the Lord's ministers mourn. The field is wasted, the land mourneth, for the corn is wasted, and the new wine is dried up, the oil languisheth. Be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, howl, O ye vine dresser, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree languisheth. The pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, and the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because joy is withered away from the sons of men. Good morning. Now, Joel is warning them to pay attention, to um, look at what's happening. The locusts uh, were going to come in as a swarm and eat up everything. And I looked up locusts to see exactly, what is this? And it's just a group of grasshoppers that when they get together in numbers and they swarm. And there are stages of the swarming. First, they are um, crawling locusts that kind of gnaw on stuff. And then as they mature, they become flying locusts, so that not only are they going to be a destruction in one place, but they are going to be able to destroy a whole lot because of the ability to fly and go far. And it made me think about um, when we have small things in our life that kind of gnaw at us, sins that kind of gnaw at um, our spiritual life, our spiritual growth. And we let it alone because it's just a little thing. It's not that big. It's not that bad. But if we leave it alone, it grows just like this maturing grasshopper. It grows and becomes a problem that is going to be difficult to handle, difficult to combat. But while it is a baby, while it is yet small enough to handle, we need to get rid of it. And Joel is telling them, you let stuff fester and it becomes bigger than you can handle, and you'll look up and you'll be so far away from God, so far away from what God has created you to be, that it's just going to be a mess. And, Joel is saying, if you don't handle the problem now, you're going to look up and there's going to be devastation everywhere. Because what the locusts do is they swarm in groups of thousands. And when they attack, they eat the vegetation until there's nothing left. Look at what it said in verse 4. It said, that which the palmer worm hath left, hath the locust eaten. And that which the locust hath left, hath the cankerworm eaten. And that which the cankerworm hath left, hath the caterpillar eaten. So in other words, they're going to eat it until there's nothing left. And that's the way sin does. It eats at us until there is nothing left. I don't care if it's resentment. I don't care if it's anger, if it's bitterness, if it's jealousy, if it's just straight up hatred. It's going to eat at you until there is nothing left. And so we have to attack those things that come against us, that sin that's in our life, that little bit, say, well, I just do it a little bit. But that little bit can grow and grow until it is a locust attack, until it eats so much that's growing in you, that's growing in your life, until there is nothing left. And there is a remedy for that. And Joel told them in verse 13, he says, gird yourselves and lament, ye priests. Howl, that means cry out, ye ministers of the altar. Come, lie all night in sackcloth. And I found that interesting that he said, come and lie all night in sackcloth. Come to the Lord praying, earnestly praying at night. And what is amazing is that the time that you can kill off this locust is at night, because at night they become almost motionless. And so if you're going to trap them, capture them, kill them, the nighttime is the time to get it, and I thought about, when do we do the most of our dirt, our sinning? A lot of times it's at night, under the cover of darkness. But that is also the time to attack that sin. So he tells them, he says, sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord your God, and cry unto the Lord. When you have sin in your life, when you know that there are some little things. That was a minister, his name is Craig Smith. He preached a sermon years ago when I was either a young adult or a teenager, those little foxes. When there are little things in your life that your carnal man tries to be slick about, I'm just going to hold on to this one little thing. It's not that bad. It's not that big of a sin. I'm just going to hold on to this little thing. But that little thing can grow into a swarm of locusts that will destroy everything living in you, around you. So he says, sanctify ye a fast. So fast, get rid of some things that are keeping you from focusing on God. And he says, not just one person, but some corporate praying. Sometimes things are so big, sometimes problems are so big in our life that us praying by ourselves just is not going to going to get it all. Sometimes we need to come together. The word says where two or three are gathered together, that's, out there I shall be in the midst. So sometimes you praying by yourself uh, is not going to get the job done. Sometimes you're going to have to call some of your prayer warriors. Sometimes you're going to have to ask the church to pray with you so that you can get rid of this thing that's eating at you, at your spirit, at your soul, that's trying to eat at your life. Sometimes you're going to have to get some people together so that they can pray that thing away, help you to get rid of that sin so that there is, in that sense, nothing left of that sin that's trying to kind of stick around, because all it takes is one grasshopper to become a swarm of locusts. And so you might start small, but if you don't take care of that problem, that issue, that sin, it's going to grow big into a swarm and totally annihilate everything. 15 says, alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our Lord. When you allow sin to set up shop, then your joy is going to leave. You're going to find yourself miserable every day. And you're going to find yourself sad, mad, frustrated. So when you find yourself in that predicament, what you need to do is turn to the one who can give you peace that passes all understanding. Verse 17, I just want to jump down there. It says, the seed is rotten under their clods, and the garners are laid desolate. That means your barn house, your barns, your houses where you lay up, your storehouses where you lay up, your crops and your grains. The barns are broken down, for the corn or the grain is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire had devoured and the pasture of the wilderness, and the flame had burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of water are dried up, and the fire had devoured the pastures of wilderness. So if you don't get that sin out of your life, it will be like locusts and destroy everything. And when the swarm gets so big and you try to burn it by fire, you end up destroying more than just the locust. So the best thing to do is when those little sins come into your life, when you succumb to little sins, or when you allow little sins to get your attention and cause you to do things that you know are displeasing to God, when it's small is the time to get rid of it. When you notice it is the time to get rid of it. Thank you for joining me today. And I encourage you to go and read Joel. Don't just stop at Joel chapter 1, but read chapter 2, because as Joel goes on, he gets into some things that are mentioned in Acts during the day of Pentecost. If you go down to Joel 2, verse 28, it says, and it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. I'm going to stop right there, but I'm just giving you that little snippet so that you'll be encouraged to not just read Joel 1, but walk through the whole of Joel. It's not that long, only a few chapters, and you'll be done. Thank you for joining me today. Remember to walk before you run, and always remember that you are blessed to be a blessing. I'll see you next time.